From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Millicent Walker.
Tonight, Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and chairman of CAN in Borno State, Bishop Mohammed Naga, blame rising insecurity in the country on poor leadership. Ondo State security outfit Amotekun arrests suspected kidnappers of traditional ruler and 3 other travelers. Also intercepts another set of over 160 migrants from northern part of the country. And former governors of Plateau and Taraba State, Joshua Dariye and John Nyame, finally freed about 3 months after their presidential pardon was approved by Council of State.
On business news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari overrides NNPC Limited, approves Settled Energy's bid to acquire entire share capital of Mobil producing Nigeria from its U.S. parent company, ExxonMobil Corporation.
And on sports news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari hails Team Nigeria's performance at the 22nd Commonwealth Games, hailing it as a parting gift to him.
And from the nation's capital, federal government launches special campaign to scale up COVID-19 vaccination in the country.
And in international news from London, the Secretary-General of the United Nations says any attack on Europe's largest nuclear power station is like a suicide mission.
Islamic scholar Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and the Borno State chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Bishop Mohammed Naga, say abusive power by the ruling class has been the major cause of insecurity in Nigeria. For both clerics, religion plays little or no role in the poor leadership Nigerians have been experiencing by past and present leaders and cannot be a factor in the forthcoming elections. The clergyman made these remarks in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, during a peace-building forum organized as part of initiatives to ensure seamless reintegration of former Boko Haram insurgents into society.
We have made available to whoever has any ambition or interest in our country, we have made available for him soldiers he can conscript to his own interests. Readily available. So why do we leave our children uneducated? Why is not education for everybody? Why do we leave our population poor? Some Nigerians are riding private jets when some Nigerians don't know where to put their children in school. And there is social injustice. If you go to the court system, justice is not there. There is a total breakdown of power. What I mean by power, the fabric of power is broken down, whether it's federal, the state, or on the local government. So children are there to be used by anybody.
2015, Christians were vice president. 2019, Christians were vice president. And during the primary, we have about 19 or so Christian governors. During the primary, had they wanted to be a Christian president, they would have lined up behind either Amechi or Osibanjo. But they say they are bowing to Tinubu. What is wrong then? Whoever comes, let us see who will bring us out of our mess in Nigeria. Now, when Nigerian Christians ruled Nigeria, what did we benefit? And Muslims now ruling Nigeria, what are we benefiting? We are looking for a savior, a man who will take us out of our trouble in this country.
Meanwhile, men of the Ondo State Security Network Agency, the Amotekun Corps, have apprehended 6 persons suspected to have abducted a traditional ruler, High Chief Mukaila, and 3 other persons. The victims were said to have been abducted last Thursday evening while traveling on the Owo-Ikare-Akoko Road in Ondo State. The commander of the Amotekun Corps in the state, Adetunji Adeleye, said his men were working on apprehending other fleeing suspects. The Corps also apprehended over 160 persons who could not give a satisfactory reason for coming to the state.
6 of the suspects here were said to have been arrested in connection with last Thursday's abduction of a traditional ruler, High Chief Mukaila, and 3 other persons. The kidnappers allegedly demanded the payment of a 50 million naira ransom. Reports say that the families of the victims pleaded with the kidnappers to reduce the ransom. Family members eventually confirmed that the traditional head and the 3 other persons were released last Saturday, but they were silent on whether ransom was paid. The commander of the Amotekun Corps gives details about the arrest.
We were able to recover clothes, beads and shoes of the victim from 2 of them who led us to the hideout of the remaining 4. So we still have about 3 others, according to them, at large, but we've been able to successfully find out the location of the remaining culprits. And as we talk now, the victims are alive, they are in good condition.
Meanwhile, over 160 persons, mainly youths of northern extraction, have been apprehended by the Amotekun Corps. They were said to have come into the state in these 2 trucks loaded with cows and motorcycles.
Our stop and search team saw these 2 trailers and they told them that they were on their way to Ondo State with cows. But on careful examination, we found out that they carefully concealed about 40 motorcycles with over 100 people lying down beneath the motorcycle. So we questioned where they were going and why they parked themselves and why they were avoiding the glare of people. And they said they were coming to Ondo State, Akure, and that upon interrogation, all of them do not have any address, nobody invited them, and we are becoming curious about this invasion.
The chairman of the Hausa community in Ondo State has distanced himself and his members from the travelers.
There's no any leader in Ondo State that know about that coming, and there's no any well-meaning Nigeria that's not bothered with about influence to this place. If you look at it, they're all very young boys now that they can cause havoc and run back to where they come from. It's very embarrassing.
Only last week, the Amotekun Corps in the state apprehended 151 of such people coming into the state, but ordered them back to where they came from after profiling the migrants.
Staying with security, normalcy has returned to Jikoi community and Airport Road in the nation's capital after a raid on commercial motorcycle operators led to clashes between the operators and vehicle inspection officers. While that was going on, scrap metal operators allegedly attacked residents of Jikoi after police raided a notorious hideout in the area. Our correspondent Dele Omoyeni reports.
Commercial motorcycle operators in Gosa, a community along Musa Yar'Adua Road, popularly called Airport Road in Abuja, have gathered here to discuss the Monday morning raid by officers of the Directorate of Road Traffic Service. Following the raid, the operators had disrupted vehicular movements on the road. The riders lament the impact of the raid on their source of livelihood.
So they just enter these taxis and come there and begin to arrest the machine before the task force, the VIO's motor vehicles come. So they come arrest machine there, and they didn't fight with them. So later on, they realized that they parked all their machines, roughly 15 machines there, that they are working on the other side. So that is where they were angry. They went and carried tires, blocked the second lane here.
We are not entering express, so see where the Roma the park. But they will follow bush, come around us here and surround everybody with a gun, collect everybody machine. When you go there, they go say bring us some out. If you pay them, if you pay maybe 20,000, 30,000, they will not give you the machine. They will chop the money. They will not return the money. They will not give you machine. Money go, machine go. Why? Yeah. So the government should look into all these things. If they want to make everybody scatter, then go let us know so that we find another way to scatter everything.
However, officers of the directorate disagree with the operators.
We have made efforts to talk to their leaders, their headship, giving them reasons why they should stay off the main road. But sincerely speaking, they wouldn't listen. We even put up a measure that is as in no crossing boundary. Okay, from this point, you can pick a passenger from this point and then go inside. Like you know that the Okada operation has been banned since 2006 in FCT, on FCC roads. But because they give them leverage, okay, take passenger from inside and drop them before the road, but they always come to the road.
In another side of town, the police in Jikoyi, a town that borders the FCT and Nasarawa state, raided a criminal hideout early Monday morning. However, scrap metal dealers in the area took out their anger over the raid on residents, burning a vehicle in the process.
In the morning, as I day here, I just see police people. They pursue those Bola people, and from there, they pursue them. They run enter inside con. As they run inside con, after road, police as they pass go Orozo side, and from there we just see those Babambola people. They just come bomb the car. They beat you. The man when get car, they stop and they beat him. Just come out, carry the man run. As the man run, and they just set fire for his car.
Nevertheless, the police in the FCT have deployed additional officers to the affected areas to ensure that calm is maintained in these areas. A statement from the FCT police PRO warns against any breakdown of law and order in the areas. Delia Moyeni, Channels Television News.
Back here in Lagos, the police command is asking all residents to have confidence in the force in ensuring a more secure state. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Abiodun Alabi, told Channels Television that operational strategies have been put in place to avert any form of attack in the state.
You see, you cannot restrict people's movements. No, it's one of our fundamental human rights, freedom of movement. But what we do is to ensure that we monitor them through intelligence. And we are working hand in hand with the immigration services. We just had our Security Council meeting last Friday, and this thing was exhaustively discussed by the governor and other service chiefs, commanders, service commanders rather, to put our eyes on these people who are coming to Lagos and to make sure that they are properly profiled. Those ones who have valid papers to be in Nigeria, who are foreigners, will remain. Those ones who don't have, immigration department will take care of them and take them back to where they're coming from. So we are really monitoring them. We have intelligence with the Department of DSS, DSS and other service commanders, including military intelligence. So we are working assiduously to ensure that we don't allow anybody who's not supposed to be in Lagos and perpetrate any crime. All of us are putting our resources together, both human and material resources. And we are working in synergy. We have a very strong synergy in Lagos. I'm talking about all security agencies in Lagos. We are working hand in hand, and we are assuring Lagosians that we will not disappoint them. We continue to do our best to make sure Lagos is very peaceful and conducive for them to go about their businesses and their lawful duties. So, There shouldn't be any apprehension. There shouldn't be any fear. We'll keep on doing our best, and we assure the Lagosians that Lagos will be peaceful.
In part two, after the break, former national chairman of ABGA and now chieftain of the Labour Party, Victor Omer, dismisses claims of presidential candidate Peter Obi not having political structure, says voters will decide election outcome. Plus, we have more on security. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and chairman of CAN in Borno State, Bishop Mohammed Naga, blame rising insecurity in the country on poor leadership. Ondo State security outfit Amotekun arrests suspected kidnappers, the traditional ruler and 3 other travelers, also intercepts another set of over 160 migrants from the northern part of the country. And former governors of Plateau and Taraba states, Joshua Dariye and John Nyame, finally freed about 3 months after their presidential pardon was approved by the Council of State. And Secretary General of the United Nations says any attack on Europe's nuclear power station is like a suicide mission. Stories on security. The Nigeria police force has dismissed another officer who was caught in a video beating a man with a machete in the Akori community of Cross River State. The officer, Mr. Luyomo Okoye, a police constable, was dismissed after facing an orderly room trial in which he was said to have been found guilty of the offence. Addressing journalists at the force headquarters in Abuja before defeating the defaulting officer, the force public relations officer, Olumiwa Adijobi, says Okoye's conduct falls short of the professional standard set by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Usman Alkali Baba. Okoye will be the second police officer to be dismissed in less than 2 weeks by the Nigeria Police Force. An Inspector, Richard Gele, who was caught on camera dignifying and justifying extortion in Kogi State, was dismissed by police in July. And the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom, has written to the President for firearms licensing for the newly established State Community Volunteer Guards inaugurated to provide surveillance and intelligence gathering in the wake of persistent attacks. He says the move became necessary following the legitimate process of establishing the guards to help restore peace in troubled parts of the state. The governor made this known while playing host to a delegation from the Northern Christian Women Coalition at the Government House, Makurdi.
My letter will be ready to submit to Mr. President to give me license for my community volunteer guards to own AK-47. If they don't give me, I will ask them for it. I'm not going to stop it. Yes. If it's the same president I believe and I know who was President Muhammadu Buhari during the military era and is now president, he will give me a license so that since they cannot find me, I'm ready. I have able youth who have volunteered to support me. Thousands of them that are willing.
And to politics, contrary to claims that the Labour Party lacks the political structure to win the presidential election in 2023, former APGA chairman who recently defected to the Labour Party, Senator Victor Omer, says the voters have become the structure. According to him, rigging is no longer possible because of the innovations in the electoral process. Senator Omer says anyone who is hoping on party structure to manipulate the elections is not in tune with current realities. He was speaking to our political correspondent, Terry Kumi.
The voters have become the structure. You know, what happens today is that because of the shift, the paradigm shift today in the conduct of elections in Nigeria, rigging is no longer possible. It's only when rigging was the order of the day that you put your trust on your structure, where people will be intimidated, ballot boxes will be carried away, voters will be intimidated, all sorts of things can happen, and you maneuver the election to who you want. The Beavers machine, which is now the anti-rigging machine in town, has made it impossible for you to determine the outcome of any election, except the voters. Because once you vote, that's it. Nothing will be added to it. Can't do anything. Whether your structure, all they are waiting, they can't change the results. The electronic transmission of results will make it possible. The result of the polling unit will go to the server. So anybody who is hoping on structure to manipulate this election in 2023 is not in tune with the realities on ground. The momentum the obedient movement has created in Nigeria. You wake up in the morning, you see somebody posting something from Zaria, from Meduguri, from Gombe, for P2B. You know, they're puzzled. People are donating offices across the north, painting it Labour Party color. And we are there saying that they don't have structure.
Do watch Political Paradigm Tuesday at noon. And the governorship primary of the Labour Party in Lagos State has been postponed. This follows an allegation by one of the two contenders of fraud on the part of the party's electoral committee. Our correspondent Timothy Crown, Derry Bugwe, reports.
Some delegates of the Labour Party in Lagos State arrived this venue for the conduct of the party's governorship primary ahead of the 2023 election. But before the day takes shape, some drama ensues. There are allegations of underhand dealing by the electoral umpire.
We held a meeting, all the candidates, with the national electoral body. We sat down, we mapped out the modalities, we agreed on the modalities. They said each candidate should bring 100 delegates, while the national officers should join them. We did. They went out to type it. Surprisingly, when they brought it back, we checked and we realized that they have removed 26 from my own delegates, added to the opponent's delegates.
The accused contender describes the allegation as untrue.
No, there was no such thing. All of us had to look at it. There was a typo, and it has been corrected. Each person has 100 delegates. It has been agreed. It is fair. He has been given his 100 delegates. I have my 100 delegates. So they are his own people that he has brought. I have my delegates too that are here, that all came from the 20 local governments, right? So the process, we have followed the process that has been agreed on when we all met and decided how we are going to conduct these primaries.
The national leadership of the party is on hand and promises to fix things.
We are correcting the error that was detected by one of the aspirants, one of the contestants, and they've gone to do the correction. If they bring the team back, if they decide, because we are to decide, we are supposed to decide, but if they refuse to, then the primary cannot hold.
For now, the exercise has been postponed to Wednesday, August the 10th, 2022, and party leaders say whoever wins will take over from the placeholder, whose details are currently with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Timothy Crown, Adiribigwe, Channels Television News.
Well, let's go over to our Abuja studios where my colleague Terry Kume is standing by with more stories. Hi Terry, it's good to see you on the news set.
Hello Millicent, I'm so excited to see you. It seems like I haven't seen you in ages. Well, former governors of Plateau and Taraba states, Senator Joshua Dariye and Mr. Jolly Nyame, are now free men following their release by the Nigerian Correctional Service in Abuja today. Both men were serving jail term for corruption allegations until they were granted presidential pardon, which was approved by the Council of State alongside that of 157 other convicts in April this year. The two former governors were convicted of corruption charges by Justice Adebukola Banjoko of the Federal High Court, Abuja, in 2018. Mr. Dariye was convicted of stealing 1.6 billion naira while serving as Plateau governor from 1999 to 2007 and sentenced to 14 years in prison. But his term was eventually reduced to 10 years by the Court of Appeal in Abuja, while his conviction was affirmed by the Supreme Court. Mr. Nyame, who was Taraba State Governor from 1999 to 2007, was convicted for stealing 1.6 billion naira from the state treasury and sentenced to 12 years in prison. The judgment was also upheld by the Supreme Court. In other stories, the federal government has launched a special campaign to scale up COVID-19 vaccination in the country, amidst fears of a problematic variant breaking out if urgent steps are not taken to protect citizens and reduce the spread of the virus. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sagi Hanire, notes that the campaign will engage mobile vaccinators as COVID-19 vaccines will be integrated into the country's routine immunization program. Dr. Hanire was speaking at the official flag-off of the campaign in Abuja.
As you put your hands together for the Federal Republic.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Minister of Health, representative of the WHO and other members of the diplomatic community are attending this conference for the flag-off of the COVID-19 vaccination campaign known as the Scale 3.0 strategy. The strategy integrates COVID-19 vaccines into the country's routine immunization program. The government is hoping to scale up COVID-19 vaccine uptake through this campaign and protect citizens against new variants that could wreak havoc.
The strategy is hopefully going to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus and gain the desired herd immunity as quickly as possible.
If we do not reduce or interrupt transmission, then as it's been earlier highlighted, we run the risk of generating variants. Actually, with each replication cycle of the virus, variants are generated. The issue is the lottery that would result in a variant that will be problematic for all of us and lead to what we experienced in the first few waves of the pandemic.
The special vaccination campaign is flagged off with officials of government receiving their second booster doses.
Scaling for those who have taken their first dosing.
A similar campaign in February this year saw an improvement in vaccines uptake, rising from 17 million to 40 million people receiving at least one jab by the end of July.
Please welcome with me Barrister Boss Mustafa.
The government says the new campaign will further increase the number of vaccines uptake and prevent deaths from COVID-19.
The present record of only over 24.4% of the total eligible population of fully vaccinated as at 3rd August 2022 leaves much to be desired. And I believe the launch of Scales 301 would be an impetus for scaling up and doing that as quickly as possible.
I want to remind Nigerians that COVID-19 is still very much present in our country, and it remains a formidable threat to our collective health and well-being. Please get vaccinated and keep your family, your community, and the country safe from COVID-19.
The COVID-19 pandemic is one global health challenge that the world will not forget in a hurry. And even though much progress has been made against the virus with the help of vaccines, hesitancy remains a major challenge in Nigeria. Still ahead on the news at 10, the president overrides the NNPC Limited, approves Seplat Energy's bid to acquire the shares of Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited from its U.S. parent company, ExxonMobil Corporation. That's on Business News. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news at 10. The federal government, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, is set to launch a new project tagged Imagine Nigeria. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the coordinator of the project, Mr. Larry Shashore, explains that the program aims to build a culture of innovation and articulate a narrative for national development. Now to the lingering ASUU strike. The leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students is expressing displeasure over the industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, which is currently in its 6th month. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Vice President, Special Duties of the association, Comrade Odiayi Ikine, says the federal government and the union need to urgently reach a compromise in the overall interest of Nigerian students. The association further appealed to security agencies to arrest imposters who are bent on overheating the polity by engaging in actions capable of affecting the nation's security. That's all from the nation's capital. Back to you, Millicent.
Thank you, Terry. And to other stories, the River State Governor Nyesom Wike reassures that infrastructure development is not affecting other responsibilities of government, as the state has not been found wanting in payment of salaries. He was responding to his critics during the inauguration of the 7th flyover at the Orochiri-Woroku Waterlines Junction in Port Harcourt. The special guest and Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, commended Governor Wike, emphasizing that bipartisan alignment is a reflection of purposeful leadership for citizens' benefit.
Attorney General, Commissioner for Justice, River State.
It's the commencement of the 2022 mid-year project's inauguration and flag-offs as Governor Nyesom Wike of River State is set to hand over this 840-meter-long flyover bridge for use. The Orochiri-Woroku flyover, the popular Waterline Junction, is the 7th to be delivered and commissioned by the Wike-led administration in less than 4 years. And the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is here to do the honors.
There will be no traffic.
The Commissioner for Works provides some insight into the project.
There will be ease of doing business around Port Harcourt, and Rivers people will benefit for it. The socio-economic benefit that this project will bring cannot be overemphasized.
Before inaugurating the project, the special guest commends Governor Wike's commitment to infrastructure development as he highlights the comparative advantages of Rivers and Lagos states to national growth and development.
We can give hope for our youth, and they can truly believe that the people in position of leadership today truly know how to ensure that their life can be a lot better than what it is today. And that's why I have made up my mind that when I see true leadership, when I see purposeful leadership, when I see genuine leadership, I will identify with you. Governor Wike has demonstrated that with us today.
Governor Wike says this project, like others that have been completed, is a confirmation of his dedication and that of his party, the PDP, to serve the people, and maintains that the PDP will clinch victory at next year's governorship election.
We are not ashamed. We are very happy that we are showcasing to the world what we have done and what we can do. So, those who are not happy that we are showcasing, you will have your own opportunity, because since you are not happy, you can't have this opportunity. Only one man will be governor, and that governor is from our party, and the candidate has emerged.
The flyover is then commissioned.
Woroku Bridge flyover in Port Harcourt, River State. Thank you very much.
With the flyover now inaugurated, Governor Nyesom Wike is promising to deliver on other 3 that are under construction, amongst other projects in the coming weeks.
Over in Ogun State, Governor Dapo Abiodun has commissioned a 2-kilometer Igon road in Agoiwoye area of Ijebu North local government area of the state, which he says will facilitate the socio-economic development of the area. Speaking at the event, the governor assured residents of the state of more investments in critical infrastructure development, which he is confident will attract more investments.
Critical infrastructure, especially road, is one of the major focus of the present administration. And in light of this, about 400 kilometers of roads have been constructed and reconstructed in Ogun State. This 2-kilometer Igong-Ishomuring-Odo Road in Agoiwoye is a critical and essential road connecting Ijebu-Ode to the state-owned Olabisi Onabanjo University mini-campus, among other towns in the axis. That is why traditional rulers, artisans, leaders of thought, associations, as well as residents of the town rolled out the drums to appreciate Governor Dakpo Abiodun for the commissioning of the road. But before that, the State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure addresses the gathering.
Thank you very much. We are glad to have you all in this place today. Distinguished guests, all the indigenous of Ijebu local government and Agoiwoye in particular, we are glad to have you at this occasion.
The Ebumawe of Agoiwoye leads other residents to appreciate the governor for fulfilling his electioneering campaign promise.
You said it when you are campaigning, and you promised it, and the promise has been fulfilled today. And more are still coming. But Allah appreciates the intention and lower by.
Governor Dakpo Abiodun, who could not hide his joy, commends residents of the area for their understanding and support as he assures them that there are more development projects coming their way.
It is my desire, to ensure that we continue to commit huge resources regardless of the scarcity of funds. This road was designed to improve the socioeconomic life of our people, as well as that of the surrounding communities, by making transportation convenient and smooth for them. This road serves as a link road between Agoiwoye, Oru Ijebu, and Ijebu townships.
Thereafter, he leads other dignitaries to cut the tape as he inaugurates the road. And while the government is providing the much-needed infrastructure, residents are reminded of the need to avoid dumping refuse into the drainages so as to avoid flooding that will in turn damage the road.
Time for some business news now. Here's Anne Wilder.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Millicent. Hello and welcome to Business News. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved Seplat Energy's plans to acquire the entire share capital of Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited from ExxonMobil Corporation in the United States. And this is coming barely 1 month after the $1.28 billion deal between both oil companies was blocked through a court injunction by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. A statement released today by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, said he gave the consent to the deal in his capacity as Minister of Petroleum Resources. It also mentions that President Buhari has directed the approval to be conveyed to all parties involved. One of Nigeria's leading financial institutions, First Bank, and payment system provider Verve have rewarded some of their loyal customers with mouth-watering gifts through the Transact and Win promo. The presentation of the gift items at the bank's head office in Lagos at the grand finale was witnessed by representatives of both National Lottery Commission, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, as well as the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Authority.
The 14-week partnership promo was designed to reward customers for their continued usage and adoption of the Verve card for various digitally driven transactions. Speaking at the presentation of the prize, First Bank's Group Executive, E-Business and Retail Products, Mr. Chuma Ezerim, explained that the bank initiated the promo to appreciate its 8 million Verve card holders.
It is worthy of note that First Bank's debit card make up a sizable percentage of our card portfolio. And this promo is aimed at appreciating our cardholders.
On his part, the Chief Executive Officer of Verve International, Vincent Benue, says his company's relationship with First Bank goes a long way. He also restates the company's commitment to continue providing secure and innovative payment solutions to its customers.
Those that have chosen us as their preferred option for cards, and we look to rewarding them for their loyalty. This is the reason behind this collaboration with First Bank to do this national consumer promo.
It's now time to announce the lucky customers of the promo, including the grand prize winner.
I didn't expect it because initially I thought it was a scam, because when someone called me from First Bank that I won a car. I said, won a car, congratulations. I said, look at this one. I didn't say anything. Said I should come the following day to their office. When I got to told my father, look what I had. Someone called me this evening, said I won a car that I should, First Bank, promo, Verve. Okay. My wife told me to go there.
So far, more than 2,600 customers have received over 50 million naira worth of prizes in the First Bank Verve card promo.
Over 125 billion naira has been knocked off from total value of listed equities at the local stock markets today. And let's hear more from Laddie Williams.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, the local bourse starts the week in the red, down almost 0.5%. And sell pressure and buy interest with heavyweights like MTN Nigeria, Zenith Bank, GTCO caused this downturn we see today. Let's look at the activity chart now. We see 207 million stocks traded hands and about 4,234 deals valued at 2.19 billion naira. That's a lot of sell pressure we see in the market there. Over to the gainers list, we see Japan Gold topping that counter, is up by 8.82%. Closing at 37 kobo. We also see Honeywell Flour there, 2.95 kobo, is up by 5.73%. We see Cornerstone Insurance at that list. Meanwhile, RT Briscoe PLC led the losers counter, down 10% to close at 36 kobo. Sector performance is mostly red, with sectors we track. Consumer goods is in the green though, up 0.17%, and we see banking there in the red, with sell pressure with tier 1 banking stocks there, dragging it down 1.10%. We see the oil and gas counter unchanged. Well, it's the second trading week of August. We still see heavy profit taking, but investors in the equities market have gained about 5.5 trillion naira, or 25% year to date. I guess that's some respite. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams. It's back to you.
Thank you, Laddie. U.S. stock markets also ended mostly in the red today as concerns over demand for the semiconductor for industries took the toll on tech giants today. Let's see the closing figures for Monday. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. The rest of the news at 10 continues with Millicent.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks, Anne. Coming up next on the news at 10, the Secretary General of the UN says any attack on Europe's nuclear power station is like a suicide mission. Please stay with us. Secretary General Antonio Guterres says an attack on Europe's largest nuclear power plant in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia is like a suicide mission. It follows IAEA Chief Mariano Grossi's concerns of reports of shelling near the plant seized by Russia in March. Simon Pusey has more on this and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The head of the United Nations says any attack on Europe's largest nuclear power station is like a suicide mission. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says inspectors must be given access to the Zaporizhia plant after it was shelled at the weekend. Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of shelling the station. The fighting has prompted the UN's nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, to warn of the very real risk of a nuclear disaster.
Any attack to a nuclear plant is a suicidal thing, and I hope that those attacks will end. And at the same time, I hope that the IAEA will be able to have access to the plant and to exercise its mandate competencies.
A ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants in the Gaza Strip appears to be holding. The Egypt-brokered truce followed 3 days of violence, with Israel targeting the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and militants firing rockets into Israel. At least 44 Palestinians died in the most serious flare-up since an 11-day conflict in May 2021. On Monday, Israel began lifting its blockade of the Strip, allowing the first fuel tanks to enter. The latest violence began with attacks by Israel on sites in the Gaza Strip, which its military said was in response to threats from a militant group. Chad's military ruler, Mahamat Idris Deby, has signed a peace deal with more than 40 opposition groups aimed at paving the way for a national dialogue later in August. A signing ceremony for the agreement, which included the parties agreeing to take part in a national inclusive dialogue, was attended by more than 30 rebel groups and followed months of talks in the Qatari capital. But the main rebel group, the Front for Change and Concord in Chad, refused to sign the deal. It had insisted Mr. Deby excludes himself from elections, which are due to take place in October. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who's in South Africa at the start of a 3-nation African tour, has held talks today with his South African counterpart, Naledi Pandor. Mr. Blinken is expected to announce a new strategy for Africa to boost American influence on the continent amid concerns that Washington is losing out to both China and Russia. Relations have been strained in recent months as South Africa, a regional superpower, remained neutral in the Ukraine war. Ms. Pandor has accused the US of trying to punish African countries for refusing to join Western calls to condemn Moscow. After South Africa, Mr. Blinken will go to Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
We're profoundly joined and connected in, I think, a basic outlook as two great constitutional democracies with a shared set of values. But to your point, we bring different perspectives on some issues. And I have to tell you, as a result of our many conversations, you've helped me rethink things and look at things in a different light. And I'm really grateful for that.
Final preparations are underway for the much-anticipated elections in Kenya, which are due to start tomorrow.
9th August 2022.
The Electoral Commission have been checking and distributing election material to polling stations ahead of the vote. Security has also been stepped up in much of the country, with police deployed to polling stations. Kenya's 22 million voters will choose the next president, as well as senators, governors and lawmakers. President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is stepping down after 10 years, has campaigned for veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga,
Fellow Kenyans,
who has pledged to renegotiate terms of increased debts to free up cash.
We will overcome.
His opponent is Deputy President William Ruto, who has pledged to reduce borrowing and stimulate small enterprises to help drive growth in the country. And finally, an unexploded World War II bomb submerged in an Italian river has been revealed due to an extreme drought. The 450-kilogram bomb was found by fishermen on the banks of the depleted River Po. Large sections of the 650-kilometre river have dried up in Italy's worst drought for 70 years. Unusually hot weather and low rainfall levels have compounded North Italy's water shortages and heightened fears about the effects of climate change. Army officials detonated the bomb in a controlled explosion on Sunday. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Let's now take a look at some sports news. President Muhammadu Buhari has commended Team Nigeria for recording their best performance in the history of the Commonwealth Games by clinching 12 gold medals in Birmingham. The president commends the 94 worthy ambassadors for bringing smiles to the faces of Nigerians by breaking world, national and games records, as well as achieving personal bests in their careers. The president also lauds the coaching crew and team officials for the passion towards the development of sports in the country, assuring them that history will remember them for all their contributions. The head coach Salisu Yusuf has invited 35 home-based players to camp ahead of the 2023 African Nations Championship qualifiers against Ghana in a few weeks. All invited players are expected in Abuja on August the 10th. The first leg of the fixture is in Accra, scheduled for August the 28th, with the return leg in Abuja on September the 3rd. Well, hopefully Ghana won't break our hearts again, but that will wrap it up. On Sports News is back to Millicent with the wrap of the news at 10. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Matthias.
Fingers crossed, Victor, on that one. And the main news again. Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and chairman of CAN in Borno State, Bishop Mohammed Naga, today attributed the rising spate of insecurity in the country to poor leadership. They said this during a peace-building forum in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. That's the news at 10 to 9. Thank you for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Have a good night and stay safe.